Hi, this is a quick Thanksgiving Day astrology update because my charts from Monday were wrong. I did the chart for the 17th. I apologize. Apparently, I wanted to do the chart for my mom's birthday. She's been gone for many, many years, but I did her birthday. Anyway, that was last week, but I will show you the astrology for tomorrow, Thanksgiving, and give you a heads up on what I see going on. This is, and those grand trines are still there, right? I've been saying these patterns have been replacing themselves. Also, Thanksgiving Day specifically, Mercury is stationed direct. So we're having a powerful day that has to do with communication. And of course, this Mercury station direct is directly opposite my Sun Mercury conjunction, which is why my mind is glitching. Sorry, we all are subject to Mercury's, tricks and strangeness. Anyway, let's dive into it. I will take a look at what's going on with the chart. We also have Saturn slowing down, and it will be turning direct as well. Okay, friends, so here we have the chart for the 27th. Yes, I did get the correct date. Here we go, November 27th. That would be Thanksgiving. So in this chart, we still have that same grand trine I was talking about, but it is completed by Venus. Before, on the 17th, it was the sun. So both of these are actually good planets. And of course, Mercury has backwarded, moonwalked away from the degrees of the grand trine. So it's at 21. It still may be in orb with Jupiter, but not with any, and it's a little wide for Saturn, but it's turning around and it's going to move forward. And then it's going to touch Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune again in the coming days, which means that a lot of stuff that was obstacles, problems, issues, delays over the past week, I would say, there's going to be boom, 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 rapid fire change surrounding all of that, okay? And there is a legal element to this. There is some sort of contractual thing going on. And I don't necessarily just mean legal on the physical level, but on the spiritual level. So, there's things can be straightened out, right? Things can be set right. During the actual Thanksgiving Day, the moon is squaring all of this and creating this big T square, which is a big challenge. It's emotional, okay? So, I'm sure you guys have noticed that holidays can be emotional times. So also, the main thing here is that moon, which is causing this really tense pattern to crystallize. But it's also in the fifth house, which is all about the Epstein stuff. It's all about children. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of emotions being stirred up and a lot of battles. And that's not ever a good thing. It's not that we need to expect everything to be perfect all the time. It's just that we can have our opinions, we can have our feelings about things, but getting into it with other people about it is not, it's kind of a no-win situation when other people are determined to see things a certain way. Just know that if you're a good person, you're coming from a good place and you want the best for everybody, that there is a point at which you need to be the Queen of Swords, lay down the law, which is, Aquarius, Moon in Aquarius really references the Queen of Swords in the tarot deck, and she's all about self-control and self-mastery. And so sometimes you have to just draw a line in the sand and not participate with things that are where no one's going to win, where it's just going to be a battle, right? And know also that the karma is coming around, and especially before the end of this year, especially as Mercury is changing directions, especially as Saturn is changing directions, which is just in these next couple of days. So people who have been these kind of bullies, intellectual, emotional, trying to force you to have their opinion or see things exactly like they do, or just being very materialistic, very much on the physical, and not having any sort of spiritual connection or caring about doing good or being a good person, or who are allowing others to gossip and, backstab and lie about another person, trash someone's reputation. Those people will have it coming back to them. It will come back in spades. It's going to come back in ways that you're going to be shocked. And it is starting Thanksgiving, starting tomorrow and moving on into the next week. And as we head towards the end of the year, it's going to smack people hard. I'm not saying this because I want to wish ill on anybody, but I do wish good on the good people of the world. And that is what's coming back for those who are the kind, the loving, the spiritually centered people, those who consider spiritual energy come first before all of the sort of just power games and dominating others and money and status and like, how cool am I? And like, who can I hurt on my way up? Can I crush this person under my heel to prove that I'm better? All this kind of stuff is going to come back in people's laps. And we're at a karmic point of inflection point where the turnaround is actually quite dramatic. So you're going to see it in the coming weeks. Not to say we wish ill on others, but people do plant their own seeds and they do receive the results of those seeds. And some of us have never seen karma for bad things that have happened, and we're going to start to see it. I was actually, again, another dream. I was actually shown last night when I was asleep. I was shown what's happening to people and some of the destruction that's happening to them. And it was awful. I mean, it was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, just really horrible things happening to people's bodies. And I mean, I don't know if that was metaphorical. I feel like it's both. I feel like there's some very bad physical destruction that's going to happen on people's physical body, their physical vessel, but also emotionally. I was seeing people in a lot of trauma and turmoil and like the demons that they've sent out to other people on this. If you want to, I mean, I see it this way. I used to not like to look at things like demons and angels, and except that I did all this work with people for years and years, psychic work and energy clearing. And I just kept seeing demonic entities and having to remove these attachments and people, and I see how demonic attachments move through weak people and try and attack those who are connected to source, those who are connected to their own inner light. That takes work. It takes work to be a spiritual person, to be connected to your light and not allowing dark, negative, it's the angel and the demon on your shoulders. It's the one that says, "Oh, do this nasty thing." If you fall for that, those people who fall for those lower petty behaviors, they're going to get destroyed by the exact same demons that they were trying to send after other people. That's kind of what it looks like. It's terrifying, actually, but whatever. I mean, I don't quite know what to say. You choose. We've been choosing. And we're at that time in life where the past, and because the past, there's still a time of grace. So because there's still a time of grace, the bad things that are going to start happening to these people, they're going to know it's because of what they did. And so they're going to have an opportunity to come clean and to reconnect or to, repent, give penance, apologize, release their negativity and move towards the light themselves and stop attacking other people. This is the time that we're headed to. And it's spiritual. It is on a spiritual level. It is because we can make it biblical, but it's really because of the energies coming through the sun. And the Bible just uses certain language to describe what's happening. So this is a very, very major, major turning point. And that's why I'm doing another video for Thanksgiving. But let's see if there's anything else in this chart. So, right. So there's a lot that I just kind of went over. And Mars is... it's squaring the north node. So it's squaring the north and the south node. It's also making a set of another T-square, even though this chart doesn't show it because that's just how they draw them. But Mars is, changing and disrupting and changing and upsetting the routine. Okay, it's upsetting the apple cart. So even though there is this very nice Venus, trine to Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune conjunct, and that does bring in the harmony, the love, the appreciation, the kindness. It does bring in those good family vibes. That's very nice. There's still this other stuff hanging out in the background, right? The backdrop. And the Mars squaring the nodes, which are in in Virgo and Pisces, which is in the 12th and the 6th house, there's stuff going on here about just things that are secret, and things that affect the routines and the habits, and that can disrupt our routines and our habits. And secrets being outed, secrets will come out. I actually expect that some sort of big news thing will come out on Thanksgiving that will or just a breaking of a piece of a new story or something like that, or another piece of, Epstein evidence, which, by the way, we haven't seen any evidence at all. They haven't shown us anything except for these insinuating emails, which don't prove anything, right? Like all this stuff about like Trump's pageants and all that. It's totally inappropriate. It was always totally inappropriate back at the time, and everybody accepted it. Nobody had an issue with it back then. So for people to make a big deal about it is laughable, honestly, because these are the same people who allowed people in their environment to be laughed at, called names, put down, used right in front of them. These are the same exact people. So they're complete hypocrites. And that's what's turning around, actually, is they're going to be exposed for how bad they are too. It's not like any of these people who say they're doing the right thing actually are. They're not. So there will be something else that's likely to break on Thanksgiving that's going to take up a lot of people's attention and energy, which could also lead to some of this battle that I'm talking about. Because there's some people you could just give them the evidence right in front of them and they won't see it. They refuse. They're going to take the story of a spin about an email instead of actual video, photographic, real evidence. That's actual real evidence. Of course, there's AI, so now we can't even necessarily trust most of what we see. But physical photograph evidence, pretty hard to fake. There's ways to verify that. So, and also older video, there's ways to verify that as well, because there just is. Anyway, there's a lot going on. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Is there anything else? Because I'm going into with so much more depth and so much more detail. There is kind of an opposition between Pluto and Jupiter. I talked about that on Monday. That's coming into exactitude in a couple of months. So we're just feeling the beginnings of that. And it is a lot of over optimism. So you're going to see also people who are sort of money gamblers, or people who just, they're going to promise the moon and the stars and deliver you like a ride on a U-Haul. Like that's kind of like nothing, right? Or a garbage truck. They can't deliver. So there's a lot of over promising and over hype. So be very careful. This is very true in the financial markets, which, they are. So I kind of said it on Monday, but I don't see done quite with our drop. They will drop. Then there will be a melt up because there will be things happening that will add liquidity to the system. But ultimately, it's going to be a kaboom, a crash and burn with the system next year. We're going to see massive financial crashes. So you got to know with the timing of when to do what. Okay. And that's what I expertly focus on in my members area. Of course, you can learn more at auraright.media. Make sure you subscribe to the blog because I have regular posts. I do a market wrap up every Friday, which is just the sort of standard technical, just to tell you what's going on. But it's good information to have. It's just good baseline information to have. Of course, I do my member calls weekly, and there's a lot more information. And I will have the December timing report coming out where I can talk about, I'm going to try and look into January too, because I want to know how long we are going to have our giant run up in the crypto market. We're not quite done with our drop, okay, but we're close to turning around. I don't know exactly how long we have because I haven't done December yet, but it's going to turn around and start moving up soon. And when it starts moving up, it will do so very, very quickly. Because it's going to be so quick and because it's going to be so vertical, you're going to need to know how to take profits during that, because I'm absolutely 100% intending to take a lot of profits myself. This is not financial advice, of course, but I will be taking significant profits out of the market on this run up because this is it's a time to take profits. That's all I can say, because we do have a massive, devastating, real crash with deep, steep lows on the whole market coming next year. The big crash is going to be devastating. So, I just want you guys to be prepared for that and make sure that you're set up, right? That you have the things you need to get through these big changes that are coming, because it's going to be really brutal, and it will come back on a lot of these people who are just trying to own everything on earth just for themselves, that's not going to work out so well for them. Companies like Strategy and all of their huge Bitcoin holdings, companies like BlackRock and their ETFs and all these things, not going to work out according to the way they have it planned. It's not going in their favor. There is a spiritual force at work here that is going to turn it around and smack people hard who have the bad intentions, who are only about hurting others and selfishly rising themselves up. I hope that prepares you for Thanksgiving. Don't get into it with people who are crazy. Just shut the door, walk away, leave for an hour, go for a walk, whatever you got to do. Just don't get into it. And hopefully that's not in your family, right? Hopefully it's just some crazy person down the street or in your neighborhood or online or whatever that you can just stop talking to. That's my recommendation, is to stay away from the insanity and, process any feelings that come up, because that's our personal work, is to deal with the horrors and the darkness that is here on earth, and we can transmute it. That's the thing. We are here to transmute it and to turn it from dark to light. That's why I'm here on earth. I've been through some stuff, and I have learned how to turn that stuff from darkness into light. I am an alchemist. You are an alchemist too, if you're getting this message. You are here to learn to transmute that into your own personal power. So having said that, I wish you a beautiful week. I'm very grateful for those of you who have found me here after being attacked on YouTube. I am grateful for you. I send you blessings and peace. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving. Bye.